48 Hours presents.
This is Officer the Houston Police Department, Major Offenders Division, Career Criminal Squad.
Hey, my name is Valerie McDaniel. I've always tried to be an honest, kind person. I've tried to live the best life I can.
Valerie wound up being the top of the class.
The valedictorian?
The valedictorian in our 1987 high school graduating class. She sure did.
My name is Megan. She's my second cousin. She's generous and creative, smart, nice and sweet. She would always take care of my dog.
I wasn't sure if I should be a vet anymore, and Valerie brought that passion back. I know that Valerie made an audio recording of all of her memorable moments in life.
I met, through friends, a man named Mac McDaniel. And I thought he was the cutest thing. Tall and skinny with his boots.
Valerie and Mac lived a lavish lifestyle.
A high-end life, you know, a life of luxury, a life of beauty.
Great cars. Valerie had a Mercedes. Her daughter went to a great school. They worked a lot. That was a big thing. They'd both be working and...
But did they seem happy together?
Yeah, it seemed great.
One morning at work, there was a note on my desk that said, "Dr. McDaniel, call Miss Brown." She said, "I've been your husband's lover."
It tore her up. Divorce is never an easy thing. She met Leon.
A medical doctor. He actually went to the same school I did. A little bit of ER, but then also like cardio and transplant.
I looked at him and smiled, and he smiled back, and just a beautiful person.
Her face, her smile, she had this outwardly exuberance of energy that I really can't describe.
She fell for Leon. She was madly in love with him.
We were planning on getting married. Mac always wanted more, at the detriment of their daughter.
My name is Motaz Aziz, and Leon Jacob tried to hire me as a hitman.
In the car, did he give you $2,500?
Yeah, he paid the $2,500.
In cash?
Yes, in cash, right.
And what did you see on his face?
Excitement. He was enjoying it. Like, he actually was excited about the whole thing.
I could never hurt the man that my daughter loves so much.
The male subject, he's gone. He's done. All right.
This has been a long, drawn-out story that's led to an unbelievable conclusion.
When he came into my office, he shut the door. He said, "I'm Dr. Leon Jacob." I felt like I was talking to Satan himself.
"48 Hours, Operation Murder," reported by Peter Van Sant, continues in 90 seconds.
$24.53?
Yes, ma'am. It's going to be a major offenders investigation.
It's 3 a.m. on Friday, March 10th, 2017. Houston police are making their way to the 7th floor condo of beloved veterinarian Valerie McDaniel. Bad doesn't begin to describe what's about to be revealed.
Your ex-husband's been found. It looks like it turns out to be a fatality.
Valerie's ex-husband, Mac, police tell her, was dead just 6 months after their divorce had become final.
Do you have anybody you can call to help you, to stay with you?
But how could Valerie's life have arrived at this dreadful moment? Valerie earned her degree in veterinary medicine at Texas A&M. It was during that time she met Mac McDaniel, Valerie's friend, Greg Holloway.
My impression of Mac is that he was a good man. He was a stand-up guy.
Mac proposed, and Valerie had the man of her dreams, as she describes in that recording of her memories.
We did get married. We had a beautiful fairy tale wedding. Moved into a house that my parents had bought for me to live in.
Not long after that, Valerie decided to open her own clinic. Valerie's cousin, Cody Bernard.
I admired her. It sunk something inside of me. I want to do that one day, something big, you know.
Mac was her office manager, but even as the vet clinic thrived, the two longed for something more.
She said she couldn't have any children, so the only option was to adopt.
In 2008, the couple adopted a daughter when she was just 2 days old. But as their new family came together, their marriage began to fall apart. It started, Valerie says, with a phone call from a stranger, the woman who claimed to have been Mac's lover. But Valerie says that wasn't all.
She gave me lists of women that he had slept with.
Valerie says she confronted Mac and forgave him, but claims it wasn't long before Mac cheated again.
And that was the first time I ever said the word divorce, and I yelled it at him outside, and I yelled it and I yelled it.
Valerie says she forgave Mac yet again, but then a chance encounter would change the course of her life. Leon Jacob, the son of Valerie's neighbor, Golda Jacob, stopped by.
He ran up to me and stuck his hand out and introduced himself. The cockiest mother ever met in my life.
Valerie was in her mid-40s, but she was stunning, both inside and out.
The attraction was mutual.
You could tell he knew how beautiful he was. And I was lonely.
Leon Jacob was 8 years younger than Valerie and a doctor.
What type of surgeries have you done?
All kinds of surgeries. I've assisted in heart, kidney, pancreas, transplants.
With a strained home life and an attractive new friend, what happened next may have been inevitable.
And he sat across from me and we had some wine, and I had my feet out on the chair next to him. And just out of the blue, he reached out and just ran his finger up my left foot. And that was it. It was like a movie moment.
It's quite an interlude, according to what she described.
Yeah, compliments all around, I guess.
In December 2014, Valerie filed for divorce, claiming Mac committed adultery. Mac's attorneys told us Mac had no comment about the divorce petition and the claims Valerie made in her audio diary. Between Mac's alleged cheating and Valerie's new love interest, both wanted out of the marriage. The divorce was finalized in August 2016. Valerie and her daughter then moved into this building in the upscale River Oaks section of Houston. Not long after, Leon joined them here.
The relationship really blossomed quickly because we had been very close friends for so long.
Dr. Brittany King worked alongside Valerie at the vet clinic.
I seem very much in love, holding hands and loving towards each other.
But there was one old problem in Valerie and Leon's new relationship, and his name was Mac.
There were multiple times in the clinic where she would just be in tears. Was everything okay? And it was something surrounding her ex-husband.
Mac had found out that Leon was staying with me.
There'd be arguments or stuff with the child, visitation.
But Leon had his own issues with past loves, one involving extreme mental cruelty and another, assault and stalking charges.
Leon Jacob is a predator. He's scary.
Samantha Connect is a Harris County Assistant District Attorney.
He wants what he wants, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
Could there be more to Valerie's new love than she can imagine?
He has no problem using women. In fact, I think he enjoys it.
Valerie McDaniel's new live-in boyfriend grew up in a Texas-sized world of beauty, opulence, and opportunity.
I always wanted to be a doctor my whole life, ever since I was about 3 or 4.
As he pursued his degrees, Leon met and married his college sweetheart. They had 2 boys.
We had a happy, loving family. I got 2 great kids, 2 boys. They're the most important things to me in my life.
A good family, and now with an MD after his name, Leon was well on his way. But Leon's picture-perfect life disguised a troubled relationship. After 12 years of marriage, his wife filed for divorce, citing extreme mental cruelty. And 1 year later, Leon was arrested for stalking his now ex.
Leon has to be in control. When his ex-wife went to end their relationship, he wasn't going to have it, and he wasn't going to go down without a fight.
Leon, isn't it true that you've had brushes with the law involving stalking, cyber stalking, intimidation, physical harassment, assault? Aren't all those true?
I pled guilty to a attempted cyber harassment charge that was stemming from an acrimonious divorce that I went through with my previous wife.
Leon admits that he called often, but he claims it was simply to speak with his boys.
I tried desperately to contact my kids over and over and over again, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
Leon finally moved on to a new residency and was living in Pittsburgh, where he met this woman, 33-year-old Megan Veracas.
I met Megan in a hotel in Pittsburgh. She was the assistant general manager there.
The new couple moved to Houston. There were lavish vacations, family get-togethers, and yet another residency, Leon's 7th.
He's a failed doctor. He's been kicked out of every residency program he's ever been a part of.
And what's the problem? What was the basis of these dismissals? Do you know?
The belief that he was the smartest guy in the room, inability to get along with people, inability to get along with patients. And in fact, one of the records that we found said that they believed that he was a danger to patients and that he would be a liability for them to keep around.
3 years into their relationship, Megan Veracas thought Leon was a threat to her too. Megan kicked Leon out of their apartment, later accusing him of assaulting her.
She wanted me to move all my stuff out. She came there and was very hostile. The police were called. There was no violence of any kind. And a day later, she claimed that I had hit her.
And that you'd put your hand over her mouth.
Yeah, which is not true.
Leon is about Leon.
Smile, Megan, smile.
It frustrated him to no end that Megan Veracas would not forgive him. And the fact that he couldn't get Megan back frustrated him and angered him.
Leon was arrested in February 2017 for assault and stalking.
You can charge anybody with anything. It doesn't mean that you're guilty of that.
The DA's office has been on this case since its inception. We helped.
Prosecutors are convinced that Leon knew his future as a doctor would be destroyed if Megan testified against him. So they believe he planned a little operation to make his pain go away.
He feels like if Megan disappears, if she goes away, that his criminal case will go away and he can resume his career as this beloved surgeon that he thinks that he is.
Prosecutors claim Leon decided what he needed was a hitman, and he thought he'd found one.
Taz, are you a hitman?
No.
Were you ever willing to murder anyone for money?
No. I would never do something like that.
Taz Azay was introduced to Leon by a mutual acquaintance.
Did Leon ever tell you how he wanted his ex-girlfriend to be killed?
Yes, he actually offered suggestions. One of them was a syringe to the heart with potassium would give her a heart attack, and that would actually kill her.
Taz is a decorated former U.S. Army soldier who saw Leon's deadly demand as an opportunity to save a life.
I saw somebody in danger, and I knew that I can do something about it, and I did something about it.
Leon knew Taz by the code name Zach. He says Leon wanted him to kidnap Megan, first to talk her into taking him back, and if that didn't work, leaving town. But that wasn't all.
If she doesn't leave, what are you gonna do? And he was like, I want you to kill her.
I'm not gonna comment on any of this. It's just ridiculous.
Taz says Leon paid him $9,000, which he happily spent.
To be honest, I don't feel bad that I spent Jacob's money. Matter of fact, I feel really good I spent his money. Yeah.
Then the man Leon knew as Zach vanished.
Leon Jacob was one of the most unique individuals I'd ever met.
Bail bondsman Michael Kubosh.
This guy was focused, was very intimidating. Didn't shake my hand, just wanted to know one thing. I want Zach's number. He said, I've paid Zach a lot of money to take care of this. I felt like I was talking to the devil himself.
Hear more from the soldier who played a hitman to save a life on Facebook at 48 Hours. Tonight's 48 Hours will continue.
This is not a minor point.
This is really a whodunit. This is a heavy gun.
This is real.
This is crazy. This is the moment of truth.
This is exactly what I tried to stop.
Tucked away on a side street in Houston is perhaps the most colorful bail bondsman in all of Texas.
Having hung out a bit with you, you are the Elvis of bail bondsmen. You have such...
His name is Michael Kubosh.
These are people that we're looking for, fugitives.
And he understands the criminal mind.
I deal with the nicest, the kindest, and the meanest people on the face of the earth. I've bonded out judges, prostitutes, preachers, missionaries.
He's also a larger-than-life member of the Houston City Council, who helped save lives during Hurricane Harvey.
I can see you've been really working hard.
I know all the major law enforcement people in the whole county.
Leon had stormed into Kubosh's office.
He said, I've paid Zach a lot of money to take care of this. I said, take care of what? He said, I want her out of the picture. And she can't be testifying against me.
Out of the picture.
Out of the picture. I believe that he meant ill toward this woman. And that's why I called the chief.
The chief of?
The chief of police in Houston, Texas.
A search for the mysterious Zach was triggered, and investigators quickly learned his real name, Taz Azay, a name that Kubosh did recognize as a former military man who is facing a misdemeanor theft charge for stealing from his roommate.
He was on bond with me. He was still free.
It took Houston police about a week to find Taz, and that's when things got really interesting.
To me, Taz seemed genuinely concerned for Megan.
This man is an undercover officer with the Houston Police Department who goes by the name Detective Javier.
He didn't want to see her hurt.
So Taz agreed to participate in a sting operation to help catch Leon Jacob in the act of soliciting a murder.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Taz told Leon that he felt he had grown too close to him and Valerie and thought it best to hire another hitman. And he knew just the right guy.
Can you meet me tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll clear my schedule, no problem.
The next day, Taz would introduce Leon to his new hitman, undercover detective Javier. But before Taz could hang up, Leon dropped a bomb.
We're taking care of both problems.
What, both problems?
Both of the individuals that we're talking about.
Okay.
Valerie McDaniel, Leon's new girlfriend, the mild-mannered veterinarian who friends had described as an angel, wanted her ex-husband murdered.
Valerie wants to talk to you about what she wants to do with her ex-husband.
Okay, that's good. All right, just bring her with you tomorrow.
The next day, Leon and Valerie met with Taz and Detective Javier at this Olive Garden to discuss the fate of both their exes over lunch.
The entire operation was recorded.
The meeting lasted nearly 2 hours and began with Leon's target, Megan.
I don't want you to hurt her, but I want her to go.
He told me that he wanted me to run her off the road and threaten her, but then he would say to me, if she does not understand that, then you do what you have to do.
If those options don't work, I don't give a then we gotta do what we gotta do.
There was no doubt in my mind that Leon wanted Megan killed.
The subject then turned to Valerie's target, her ex-husband, Mac.
Say if something would happen to him, would it be like a car wreck or?
It could be a car wreck. It could be a robbery gone wrong. She was under the belief that I was going to carjack him and I was going to put a bullet in his head, which is exactly what I told her I was going to do. But you need to give me the go ahead. You want to do that?
He's going to take my daughter.
The next day, March 9th, 2017, Detective Javier called Leon to say he had good news that he insisted on delivering in person.
How are you, my friend?
He went to their home where he informed them Mac was dead. Neither wanted to see this photo, which seemed to show Mac with a gunshot to the head.
When Valerie got the news that her husband was dead, was she emotional about it? Did she say, oh my God, I never wanted to go this far?
She did not show that.
What they didn't know is that Mac was alive and well. He'd posed for those photos as part of this elaborate sting operation. Believing Mac was dead, Leon set his sights on Megan.
So you're gonna snatch her and you're gonna bring her somewhere and talk to her.
That's the plan.
If I need to show up, you call me.
Later that night, these staged photographs of Megan were texted to Leon, and he was told she was so out of control, she had to be killed.
She's dead. She's gone.
I don't want to know anything.
On that scale of good to evil, in your mind, what is Leon Jacob?
Leon is a very evil person. He was willing to do whatever he needed to do to survive.
Tonight's 48 Hours will continue.
Weekdays.
Good morning to you and welcome to CBS This Morning.
Join Tony DeCopa, Anthony Mason, and Gail King.
I'm very glad it's us today.
The new CBS This Morning, weekdays.
It was probably around 2 or 3 in the morning.
On March 10th, 2017, Valerie McDaniel and her live-in boyfriend, Leon Jacob, get a wake-up call from Sergeant Frank Quinn that will soon lead to an Oscar-winning performance.
What's going on?
She lets them inside, but she feigns surprise. She can't understand why they're there.
Remember, just hours before, Detective Javier, posing as a hitman, had told her that Mac was dead. But now Valerie has to convince police she is hearing it for the first time.
Sorry to have to tell you. Have you heard from him recently?
She pretends to be upset. She puts her head in her hands. She sits down and she acts like she's completely shocked and surprised that her ex-husband is dead.
Is your boyfriend here with you? You think he can kind of be a little help to us now?
This surreal scene, caught by the body cameras of Houston police, is about to reach its climax.
We were hoping you could help us. We had to deliver some bad news to her. Our ex-husband's been found tonight. Oh my God. It was like, might have been a robbery gone wrong. We're just trying to if anybody knows anything or might be able to help us.
Are you okay, baby? We've been here all night. We were here all day with their daughter, and we were watching movies. We haven't been out of the house all day except.
Then the cops decide to call cut on all this bad acting.
Right now, we're going to read you your rights. Me? Because both of you are being arrested for solicitation of capital murder.
It is only then that the couple learns that both their intended targets are alive and well.
I don't know why I'm being arrested.
Leon is led out.
Can I get a sweatshirt? I'm already cold.
And Valerie has a much bigger concern. Her daughter, who's been asleep in the apartment this whole time. Although not caught on camera, Mac arrives to pick up their 8-year-old.
And what did Valerie say to her?
You know, something along the lines of just, taking you to your daddy's outside and he's going to take you. And it was very benign and, just normal as could be.
And so all of a sudden on the news media came the arrest of 2 doctors.
A Houston woman and her boyfriend were charged with trying to have their exes killed.
And I'm laying there thinking, well, that's not the Valerie I know. And they showed the film of her going up for her arraignment.
Did you about fall out of your chair?
That almost rolled out of the bed.
Because Leon has those other pending charges related to Megan, he doesn't make bail. But Valerie does.
Valerie was rushed out the jail alongside family after
and goes home to wait for the legal process to play out.
I remember texting her throughout the week and calling her and constantly sending her, I love you, we can get through this. So happy you're out.
Valerie's veterinary license got suspended because of the charges. Brittany says Valerie was weighed down by her arrest and the prospect she wouldn't be seeing her daughter for a long, long time. She visited Valerie at her high-rise condo.
But I remember giving her a hug goodbye, and I just felt the life in the eyes was not there.
It's weird. It wasn't like bam, 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 progression. Things just gradually happened.
2 weeks after the shock and shame of being charged with solicitation of capital murder, Valerie McDaniel used her iPad,
March 25th, it's been a few days,
to record her side of the story.
I didn't wake up one day and just say, hey, I want to kill my ex-husband.
For Valerie, everything she loved was slipping away.
I want to talk to my daughter. I want to talk to Leon. I'm just not strong enough. I wish I were. I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
2 days after her final recording, on March 27, 2017, Valerie, who once seemed unstoppable, did the unthinkable. She climbed over this very railing and jumped 7 stories to her death.
She wanted me to be home with her, and we were going to get through this. And it was devastating and shocking.
I think that she was in a very vulnerable position when she met Leon Jacob. But I think he influenced her and brainwashed her.
I'm innocent. And as a human being and as a physician, that thought of killing somebody else just goes against everything in my nature.
It really depends on what they find.
Leon has hired one of the top defense attorneys in Texas, George Parnham, who says Valerie McDaniel was the one calling all the shots.
I'm sorry for her demise, but I believe that Valerie is and was responsible for this entire scenario.
That she was the driver. She was the financier of all of this.
That is my understanding.
The question now, what will a jury think? On March 20th, 2018, a week before the first anniversary of Valerie's suicide,
this is the state of Texas versus Leon Philip Jacob.
Leon alone stands trial on 2 counts of solicitation of capital murder.
One of the things you'll learn about Leon Jacob is he has to be in control. Mac was going to die, and Megan was going to die.
Cameron Callaghan is Samantha Connect's co-prosecutor. He says Leon's motive was clear.
There was 2 obstacles to the defendant's new life with Valerie McDaniel. It was Mac, and it was Megan. Mac could keep Valerie away from him by making Valerie choose between the defendant and her daughter, and Megan could make him end up in prison.
George Parnham's co-counsel, Matthew Pospisil, claims that it was the undercover officer whose identity we're protecting by calling Detective Javier who pushed Valerie and Leon to make a deadly choice.
If it was not for Officer trying to make this into a television story and force his own narrative, Leon would not be forced here today to tell his story.
All right, thank you all. Please be seated. Let's continue.
Testimony begins with some of the early stops on this long road to justice, starting with Megan.
He didn't want her to testify against him, and he had paid somebody a lot of money to make sure that she wouldn't be here to testify against him.
He actually wanted me to make her disappear. Basically, he wanted her gone, like that.
Call your next witness, please.
Before the trial concludes, 2 potential victims will rise from the dead to take the stand.
Could you please introduce yourself to the members of our jury?
And the jury will hear from Leon, who says he's only guilty of being a Casanova.
I have no problem sitting here and saying that I slept with Valerie 7 days after Megan and I broke up. But I'm not on trial for being a womanizer. I'm on trial for solicitation of capital murder. So you can assassinate my character all you want up here. It doesn't make me guilty of what you've charged me with.
One of the prosecution's strongest witnesses, Megan Veracruz, Leon's ex-girlfriend, who had filed assault charges against him in January 2017, takes the stand.
It was a long time coming. I tried to leave several times.
She recalls Leon coming to the house where she was staying just after the alleged incident.
I obviously didn't want to be near him, so I hid in a closet.
Why did you hide in a closet?
Because I was afraid of Leon. He came in and was screaming and yelling, and he said, "I know that bitch is here."
Megan says Leon kept pursuing her when she was at work.
He was in the bushes outside on a cell phone, waiting for me.
And when she drove to her new home.
At that point, I called 911 to let them know that, my ex-boyfriend who assaulted me was in a car behind me. And then at some point, Leon had gotten out of his vehicle in front of mine, just yelling and waving his hands, saying, just talk to me, I need to talk to you.
Leon was arrested a second time on stalking charges, on February 16, 2017. Less than 10 days after that, Megan was contacted by police and warned her life could be in danger. She fled to her hometown of Pittsburgh, but police soon called her to return to Houston to be part of that sting operation.
I sat in a chair in a warehouse, and they zip-tied my hands and my feet and put duct tape around my mouth to make me look as if I had been kidnapped. I was crying and really upset.
Next, it was Valerie's ex-husband, Mac McDaniel's turn.
We were married for 17 years and divorced in 2016.
He recalled finding out his ex-wife was living with Leon.
What was your initial reaction to that?
My initial reaction was not good.
And why was that?
Because I was aware of his history, his criminal history.
Did you convey to Valerie that you did not want the defendant around your daughter on the weeks that she had custody?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she agree to that?
She did.
At some point, did you learn that she was not abiding by the agreement?
I did.
Mac tells the jury he too was notified he was the target of a murder plot. Then the prosecution shows the jury that photo.
Can you describe for the members of the jury what you're doing here?
Staging my own death.
Did they pour blood on you?
Pig's blood.
3 days into the 5-day-long trial, it's the defense's turn. They call their star witness.
I never asked anybody to kill anybody.
Does the word kill, hurt, harm in any way, shape, or form appear in any of those recorded conversations?
Not on my behalf, except for to exclude them from things I want done. I never asked to have anybody hurt, killed, harmed, kidnapped, or I never asked for anybody to be in any way physically hurt.
But the prosecution says that's not true.
She's dead. She's gone. I don't want anything.
And they claim those undercover tapes back that up.
Did you not want anybody hurt when you said, inject her with potassium chloride, stop her heart, untraceable?
I said that was something you could do. I didn't say that for him to do that.
Did you recall telling the undercover officer, if those options don't work, I don't give a then you gotta do what you gotta do because my survival is more important?
Yes.
Leon's own words come back to haunt him, regarding Mac as well. After the undercover officer proposed a fatal carjacking,
it could be a robbery gone wrong.
Leon offered $10,000 in 4 weekly installments.
So you're agreeing to give him $2,500 just after he tells you, I'm gonna put a bullet in his head and throw him on the street.
If that's what you say.
Well, that's in the recording. It's not what I say. It's what Javier and you said, right?
I guess.
Leon and the defense team tried to make their point that the undercover officer was pressuring them into making deadly decisions.
I kept on telling them I didn't want anybody hurt, and they kept on going back to the theme of killing people. I felt a lot of pressure from them to sort of commit to this idea of killing people, and that was never my intent.
Were you asking them just to threaten people?
Essentially, yes.
Did you actually want any harm to come to anybody?
No.
But the prosecution points out that when Leon thought Megan was tied up and refusing to cooperate, he did nothing to stop the lethal final step.
You'd agree with me that you never said, no, I don't want you to do anything. Stop this. You didn't say anything like that, did you?
No.
The jury gets the case.
Has the jury reached unanimous verdict?
And takes just an hour and 15 minutes before returning to the courtroom.
Will the jury find the defendant Leon Philip Jacob guilty of solicitation of capital murder as charged in the indictment?
Leon is found guilty on both counts of conspiring to have Megan and Mac killed. The trial moves to the sentencing phase. The same jury that found Leon guilty will decide his punishment. New testimony begins.
I have no sense of trust Just constantly afraid that something else is going to happen.
The only thing that might impact Leon's sentence more than the words of his ex-girlfriend may end up being the words of his ex-wife.
The state calls Annie Morrison.
Annie Morrison has flown in from Chicago to testify.
Yes, there was a time that we got into a fight and he pulled a knife on me. There was one time he pushed my head down onto the counter and bruised my face near my eye.
Annie recounts an incident she says occurred when she was 7 months pregnant with their second child.
He threatened to punch me in the stomach. He kicked my legs. I remember bringing my legs up as far as I could toward my chest to try to protect my stomach. He threatened that if I ever left, that he would kill me. He said that nobody would ever find my body because he was a doctor and he had access to chemicals that would dissolve my body.
Annie did leave, moving to her parents' home in Chicago. That's when Leon started threatening her parents.
Thank you, Judge. May I publish State's Exhibit number 81 to the jury?
As the jury heard in this recording Annie made of a phone call with Leon.
The defendant, please stand.
The jury took just 1 hour to decide Leon Jacobs' sentence. Life in prison on each count. Solicitation of capital murder for Megan Veracruz and Mac McDaniel.
Victim impact statement, please.
In Texas, the victim impact statements come after the sentence. Megan takes the stand one last time.
You will never see your children grow up. You will not be a part of their lives, and they will be fed better for it. You destroyed me financially and took away my sense of security, but you can do that no more. While you sit in jail, I hope you think of me, the girl that you called poor and uneducated, because it's because of me you will be in prison for life.
Leon Jacob will be eligible for parole in the year 2047. He will be 69 years old.
I intended to kill him.
Was he brainwashed by a psychiatrist?
Dr. Bookbinder claims that she had no involvement at all in this.
Then why was she just arrested?
Why did you buy that sledgehammer?
A Hollywood producer and writer of graphic novels. His girlfriend brutally murdered.
This was a prolonged and brutal crime.
Blake was concerned that his brother's gambling had placed his family in danger.
Was it revenge, or was his graphic novel a script for murder?
It's just more like a horror movie.
CBS News, original reporting.